Hello, students. Hope you are doing well. So, before proceeding with the next chapter, I want to tell all of you that it has been observed that you haven't subscribed the channel and you're not particular about the content shared with you all. So, students, it's my humble request to be very particular about this. Now, we will do the next chapter from the book Moments in the Kingdom of Fools. So, this chapter Kingdom of Fools deals with the theme that wisdom is worshipped everywhere, while foolishness is our greatest enemy. With the help of wisdom, we can make a difference between right and wrong. When our life is in troubles, we can fight with them and make our ways with the power of wisdom. It lives with us and never dies, even if we leave this world. Obviously, the wise people are worshipped everywhere. In the Kingdom of Fools is in actual a Kannada folk tale, which is recreated by A.K. Ramanujan. A.K. Ramanujan was the Indian poet and scholar of Indian literature who wrote in both English and Kannada. Ramanujan was a poet, scholar, philologist, folklorist, translator, and playwright. His academic research ranged across 5 languages: English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Sanskrit. He published works on both classical and more modern variants of this literature and argued strongly for giving local, non-standard dialects for their use. Though he wrote widely in a number of genres, Ramanujan's poems are remembered as enigmatic works of startling originality, sophistication, and moving artistry. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1999 for his collection of poems, The Collected Poems. Now we shall discuss about the characters of the chapter. So the characters are the Guru. The Guru was a very wise man who never succumbed to any temptation. He was quick to the judge that his disciple and he were in the kingdom of fools. Knowing that the behavior of foolish people is unpredictable, he decided to leave the city immediately. He didn't get tempted like his disciple did by the one Dudu price for everything in that kingdom. He also knew that a foolish person should be tackled wisely. He didn't try to reason with the king regarding the innocence of his disciple. Instead, he flattered the king with false praise and obtained the freedom of both his disciple and the kingdom. And the next is the disciple. The disciple was a simple but greedy fellow. He followed his guru everywhere and listened to him. However, once he could not resist the temptation of good and cheap food available in the kingdom of fools. He didn't pay heed to his guru's warning and stayed back. His greed almost cost him his life, but he quickly regained sense. He had faith in his guru's powers. That is why he first recalled him in his thoughts and then behaved according to the plan devised by him. This character also brings a smile to the readers by the manner in which he grows fat after eating bananas, rice, wheat, and ghee. Next, the king. The king, who was a fool and owned a beautiful kingdom. He could go to any length in order to be different from others. His orders were foolish and his ideas stupid. Turning day into night and ordering execution of those who disobeyed are examples of his silliness. The king had no idea about justice. Assuring the thief's brother that justice would be done and terming the thief's death as murder indicate his lack of knowledge about justice. The king didn't have any sound sense of judgment about people either. He couldn't see that the Guru was flattering him to rescue his disciple. His disposition led him to believe every word uttered by the Guru and ended up getting executed by his own men. Let's visit the kingdom of fools now. So, I'll summarize the chapter now. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and his ministers were idiots. They wanted to do something new, so they ordered the people to sleep all day and keep awake at night, plow their fields, and run their business. The punishment for disobedience was death. Both the king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. One day, a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. Even though it was a sunny day, they saw no one about. Even the cattle were asleep. It was a big surprise for them. But by the evening, the whole town woke up and went about their daily business. Since the strangers were hungry, they went to buy food. They were delighted to find that everything was damn cheap, cost the same, only one dudu. After they had cooked and eaten their supper, here I want to clear one thing, students. Dudu is currency of that time. After they had cooked and eaten their supper, the wise Guru felt uneasy. He felt that it was not safe to live in a city of fools. But the disciple disagreed with his Guru. All he wanted was good, cheap food. So he stayed on. The Guru went away. The stupid disciple ate lots of bananas, rice, wheat, and ghee. He grew fat like a bull. One day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. He entered through a hole in the wall. When he was carrying out his loot, the wall collapsed and killed him on the spot. His brother complained to the king against the merchant who had made a weak wall. He demanded compensation as well as justice. The king called the merchant to the court. The merchant accepted that the wall was weak. The king declared punishment for him. But the merchant said in self-defense that he had not put up the wall. The real culprit was the mason or the bricklayer. The bricklayer was sent for and ordered to be executed. The bricklayer passed on the blame to a dancing girl who had been going up and down the street all day, and the sound of her anklets distracted his mind. The dancing girl was called to defend herself. She was an old woman now. She agreed that she had walked up and down the street while the wall was being built, but she couldn't help it because of the lazy goldsmith, who was causing delay in making her ornaments. The goldsmith was called for cross-questioning now. He passed on the blame to the rich merchant who wanted his orders to be finished at the earliest. The rich merchant was the same person whose wall had killed the thief. He argued that not he but his late father had ordered the jewelry. The king consulted his minister and ruled that somebody had to be punished in place of the late father of the merchant. A new stake had been made for execution. At the last moment, the minister said that the merchant was too thin to fit the stake. So the search for a fat man began now, and the disciple unluckily was found fat and fit for the execution. The disciple remembered his wise Guru who possessed magic powers. He arrived and insisted on being executed first. The disciple also made the same demand. The king was taken aback. The Guru told him the secret. The one to die first would be the king in next life, while the second person to die would be his minister. The king was lost in deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next life. So he made a pact and plan with the minister. They set the Guru and his disciple free. In disguise, they went to stake at night. When their dead bodies were taken down to be thrown to the crows and vultures, the people recognized them as the king and minister. They were in deep sorrow, they were in grief now, and discussed about the future of the kingdom. They caught up with the Guru and his disciple and crowned them as the king and his minister. The new rulers changed all the old laws. The night and day were observed as in any other place. Secondly, nothing could be bought for a dudu. So, student, what we learn from this story? The story gives us two messages. The first message is that one should stay away from foolish people, else one is bound to suffer. The second message is that in order to tackle foolish people, one should employ wisdom and not logic. The Guru doesn't argue or reason the innocence of his disciple, rather, he flatters the king and manages to convince him that the new stake was lucky actually. He not only saves the life of his disciple but also rids the kingdom of the foolish king and his silly minister. In addition, he becomes the next king and his disciple the next minister. I hope you have understood the chapter now. So thank you for